Hi again, YouTube land. So, as I've mentioned before, I have a thing about rereading books and rewatching movies and TV shows, and it's really only safe to say I do it ad nauseum. I don't know why, I don't really get tired of things that I like, especially when it comes to, watching them and reading them, etc. But I've shared a couple of stories with you before by this one author who I'm really quite a fan of. I've heard him speak in person when I was very young. His name's Robert Fulghum. So I'm rereading one of his books. It's this one right here. And there's a story in it that made me want to share. Because it's one of those things, there's been some stuff going on the last couple of days, couple of weeks. And it's a theme that reoccurs to me every so often about people not really being grateful and appreciative for the much simpler things like they could be, they probably should be. So I thought I'd share this with you. Again, I'm reading it out of his book. This is not mine. This is his story. And at one point I'm probably going to do a very bad foreign accent impersonation, but that's how it's written in here. So I don't mean to be offensive. I'm trying to be accurate reading the story. In the summer of 1959, at the Feather River Inn near the town of Blairsden, Sierra Nevada Mountains, Northern California, a resort environment. I, just out of college, have a job that combines being the night desk clerk in the lodge and helping out with the horse wrangling at the stables. The owner-manager is Italian-Swiss, European notions about conditions of employment. He and I do not get along. I think he's a fascist who wants peasant employees who know their place, and he thinks I'm a good example of how democracy can be carried too far. I'm 22, pretty free with my opinions. He's 52, has a few opinions of his own. One week, the employees had been served the same thing for lunch every single day. 2 wieners, a mound of sauerkraut, and stale rolls. To compound insult with injury, the cost of meals was deducted from our check. I was outraged. Friday night that awful week, I was at my desk job, about 11 p.m., and the night auditor had just come on duty. I went into the kitchen to get a bite to eat and saw notes to the chef to the effect that wieners and kraut are on the employee menu 2 more days. That tears it. I quit. For lack of any better audience, I unloaded on the night auditor, Sigmund Wollman. I declared, I've had it up to here. I'm going to get a plate of wieners and kraut and go wake up the owner, throw it on him. I'm sick and tired of this crap, insulted, and nobody is going to make me eat wieners and sauerkraut for a whole week, make me pay for it. And who does he think he is anyhow? And how can life be sustained on wieners and sauerkraut? This is un-American. I don't like wieners and kraut enough to eat it one day, for God's sake. The whole hotel stinks anyhow. The horses are all nags, and the guests are all idiots. I'm packing my bags and heading for Montana, where they never even heard of wieners and kraut and wouldn't feed this stuff to pigs. Something like that. Quite frankly, I'm still mad about it. I raved on in this way for 20 minutes and needn't repeat it all here. You get the drift. My monologue was delivered at the top of my lungs, punctuated by blows on the front desk with a fly swatter, kicking of chairs, and much profanity. A call to arms, freedom, unions, uprisings, and the breaking of chains for the working masses. As I pitched my fit, Sigmund Wollman, the night auditor, sat quietly on his stool, smoking a cigarette, watching me with sorrowful eyes. Put a bloodhound in a suit and tie? You got Sigmund Wollman. He's got good reason to look sorrowful. Survivor of Auschwitz. 3 years. German Jew. Thin, coughed a lot. He liked being alone at the night job. It gave him intellectual space, peace and quiet, and even more, he could go to the kitchen and have a snack whenever he wanted. All the wieners and kraut he wanted. To him, a feast. More than that, There's nobody around at night to tell him what to do. In Auschwitz, he dreamed of such a time. The only person he sees at work is me, the nightly disturber of his dream. Our shifts overlap an hour, and here I am, one-man war party at full cry. Fulghum, are you finished? No. Why? Listen, Fulghum, listen me. You know what's wrong with you? It's not Venus and Kraut. It's not the boss, it's not the chef, it's not the job. So what's wrong with me? Fulghum, you think you know everything, but you don't know the difference between an inconvenience and a problem. You break your neck, you have nothing to eat, your house on fire. You got a problem. Everything else, inconvenience. Life is inconvenient. Life is lumpy. Learn to separate inconvenience from real problem. You live longer, not annoy people like me so much. Good night. And then in a gesture combining dismissal and blessing, he waved me off to bed. Very seldom in my life have I been hit between the eyes with truth so hard. Years later, I heard a Japanese Zen Buddhist priest describe what the moment of enlightenment was like, and I knew exactly what he meant. There in that late-night darkness of the Feather River Inn, Sigmund Woolman simultaneously kicked my butt and opened a window in my mind. 30 years now, times of stress and strain when something has me back against the wall and I'm ready to do something really stupid with my anger. A sorrowful face comes to mind and asks, Fulghum, problem or inconvenience? I think of it as the Woolman test of reality. Life is lumpy, and a lump in the oatmeal, and a lump in the throat, and a lump in the breast are not the same lump. One really should learn the difference. Good night, Sig. I hope my impersonation of a German accent wasn't too bad, because I'm part German. But I thought it was a good idea to share that with everyone, because it quite often is the case, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm human. I'm guilty of it like everyone else, where I have to stop in the middle of some ass-chewing tear and seriously assess the situation and say, you know what? I really am making a mountain out of a molehill. I really am going way overboard for something that could be handled a lot easier, a lot simpler, and a hell of a lot calmer. So, hopefully that's an enjoyable anecdote for those choosing to watch these. Again, that was not my work. That was Robert Fulghum from his book, Uh-Oh, Observations from Both Sides of the Refrigerator Door. Feel free to comment. Feel free to leave me notes. I like your reading. I hate your reading. You should stop reading those stories. Whatever. And I will see y'all next time. This is a very brief posting, as you can see from the clock, not my usual long ramble, so hopefully it helps you kill a few minutes waiting for the delivery guy to come.